is Tom Mealy from Madhouse TV, and when I'm not at the studio, I'm here at the Harrison Law Group. This is my real job. In this January 2015, Brett and I are putting together a show called Legal Straight Talk. It'll be aired on Cablevision as well as here at Madhouse TV. You need to tune in. This information that we're going to be giving the public is the real deal. It's all about what you should do, what you shouldn't do. So tune in this January 2015 for a new episode of Legal Straight Talk.
Hi, I'm Jerry Parisi. Join Tom Mealy and Tommy Marr right here on Cablevision Channel 20 each week for an interesting episode of The Long Island View.
I am Tommy Marr,
otherwise known as the Maverick Soul,
and I am live in the Madhouse
for my show, Maverick Soul Hour.
Come and join us. It's the place to be.
Right here on Madhouse TV, Sunday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And we will put you out to the entire world.
You got that right.
You're watching MadhouseTV.com. Stay tuned for the Filmmaker Show starring Jerry Parisi.
Hi, I'm Jerry Parisi. Welcome tonight to the Filmmaker Show here at Madhouse TV. And if you happen to be watching this on Channel 20, well, welcome to that as well. So it looks like...
Hello.
It looks like Michelle has arrived again, and she's going from the featured watching Madhouse TV to what's becoming my co-host. And seeing that now the mail is coming that they want to see more of her, I'm beginning to think you're going to take over the show. How do you feel about that?
I like it.
I like it too, actually.
We got some great shows tonight. But before I begin, I want to mention that earlier this week we went to the Long Island Hospitality Ball with Alec Baldwin, and I saw a lot of different people I know. Some of them were the people at News 12. It's nice to see that everyone was there. About 3,000 people.
3,000 people.
3,000 people.
Yep.
And you know, I couldn't even find my wife for about an hour and a half, which was a good thing in one way.
You. Yeah. Right, exactly.
What? I can't keep them quiet. I got some other things to talk about before we introduce our first guest. Okay, Madhouse TV, everybody. For those of you who want to know more about the people like me and Tommy and Vicky and Janine and Regina and Benny and you name it, they're in here. Madhouse TV, the book will be out there very soon. Speaking of soon, and it's been 8 years in the making, finally only one man has the guts to sit down and talk about a show that integrates advertising with a TV show. That's Tom Mealy, my buddy Tom.
Great guy.
Great guy. And so what we got here is the book. And important to know about this book is now been picked up by Philbin Collier Publishers. And that's important because the book is the prequel to the show. The show is an hour-long special about an ad agency from New York City, how it merges, how it gets taken over, and how much trouble it can get into. And believe me, with Madhouse TV, this is the kind of show we won't hold anything back. And speaking of not holding anything back, for a man that's...
Finally! I've been sitting here for 45 minutes. Please! My TV dinner is about burnt, I'd say, yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, the incomparable Mike Dillon.
The one and the only. Where is he? Where'd he go? Where'd the leg go? I came in here with 2 legs. Michelle, it's a pleasure seeing you.
It's great to have you on the show.
Well, thank you so much. Jerry, I love your work.
But you love my work.
And so much smarter to have Michelle with you.
You know what?
It's where you don't get in trouble. Where have you been the last 6.5 hours?
Well, she's better looking than me. That's the whole problem. Yeah, I want to aspire to be like Tony Landolfi someday. That's what I want.
Listen, you have to be drinking for like 35 years consecutively, and that wasn't easy to say. Without water in any of your drinks.
You better get started.
I better start
You
now.
got an easy pass. You get an easy pass in the saloon.
She's 35 years. I'll be like 95 or something. What
It's okay.
Is that when I'm going
That's
to...
right. He's 95. Tony's actually 95.
And then your liver will fall out.
Oh, that fell out years ago. I don't know. Remember, I'm from Madison Avenue. That's all we did do was drink. I guess we got to get a show started here. So let me ask you something. Mike, you've been out there how many years making people laugh?
Well, actually about 6.5 days.
Nice.
No, 15 years. They say it's 15 years, but it sure seems like about 30,000 the way most of the audiences react to me.
How did you get started in comedy?
Well, you know, getting a little serious. I always wanted to do something that made me fearful. And for many, many years, of course, nobody wants to talk in public. I mean, that's the greatest fear of the masses. And that actually beats death.
And here I thought being a prostitute was more exciting than this. But go ahead, tell me more.
Well, you know, I did that for a while, too.
Did it work out for you?
Take a look. I got one freaking leg here, pal. Come on. I hop from customer to customer. Come on. No, but I started in 1976. I walked into the first club on Long Island.
Okay.
It's called Richard M. Dixon's White House in Hicksville Road. And I walked in there. Bob Nelson was there that night. Probably Eddie Murphy.
Sure.
And I was there. But I was too afraid to perform. Years later, I worked with some of those people, Bob Nelson, Richie Minervini, people like that. I got so nervous, they heckled the first guy terribly. And the guy had MS. I later found out his name was Vinny Basso. And he not only had MS, but he had a really, really, really bad case of the drunks. He liked to drink, much like Tony Landolfi.
Look at that.
I'm glad you're laughing all day, Camille. So anyway, it shook me. I was 25 years old at the time. I just had come back to New York from Florida, where I, believe it or not, was very successful. And these people, if they were laughing at a guy with MS and weren't giving him any kind of acknowledgement, what were they going to do to a guy like that? So I had a couple of beers. Richard M. Dixon was there. He looked a little bit like Nixon, and I flew out of the building. 24 years later, I finally got enough of the, Watskis.
The kahunas.
Yes, my wife says I lost them that night when I finally did go up on stage. But 24 years later, I went to an open mic at McGuire's.
Okay. Got
on stage for the very first time, and I've been turning off audiences since. So
those poor audience.
Much like right now. Much like right now. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But you get bit. It is an addiction. I think somebody eventually should write a book about the psyche of.
Why not? We've got 3 of them here now.
Right here. This is I'll sign it myself.
There you go.
But the greatest fear of the public, of everybody, public speaking. So I had finally gotten to a point, Jerry, Michelle, and
listen, I lived on a nude beach for 16 years. If I can do that, that's true.
Oh, here we go.
Absolutely, I'm not afraid to
if you
talk to
can do that, I
audiences.
can get on stage and be
Let me tell you
15
something.
minutes. But that was it. I just had to eventually face my fears.
Right.
And that was my greatest fear in life. Now I've been close to death, not the greatest experience in the world, but public, getting up in front of an audience and trying to make them laugh, like tonight. You see how it's going? It's gotta be
let me say something to you.
It's gotta be like, what the hell are you thinking about?
How big was your biggest audience so far?
Well, I played the Borgata. I think 800 people.
Okay,
That's
you are
huge.
playing.
800 people not laughing at one time is deafening.
That's
all I can
huge.
It's deafening.
Do you know how many people are watching this show right now?
$55,000, I think you told me.
55,000 is on cable right this minute on
They're
first
here-
click.
they're here-
31,000.
Jerry, they're here for the commercials.
There are no commercials. You're in trouble, buddy.
They're in trouble.
There are commercials. I saw them coming in here.
Well, that's my commercials for the shows I produce. I
want to thank you for the lovely flowers tonight, too.
They're all dead.
Well, that's perfect for me. I'm mostly there myself.
I would say 1 foot in the grave, but that's not a good thing.
That's it. That's the one that's in. Hi, folks.
All right.
Hello.
I want to ask you something.
Television land.
You.
Keep laughing, Camille.
I love him. He's
I'll
very
pay you
cute.
later on.
It's a whole quarter too. You had diabetes.
I had diabetes. I also had a lot of bad doctors. Yeah, who had got a big thrill out of cut me apart for no reason.
But that's not stopped your humor. I noticed.
You haven't seen me lately.
Oh.
You've caught me on a night I am not jumping off a building. Haven't you been reading my posts on Facebook?
Overall, you still maintain. Overall, you still maintain your sense of humor.
I just, hey, this
you
is
keep
the
yourself
only
in
life I got. This is the only body I got. I mean, how sad is this?
That was a design flaw by God.
How exactly?
You know
Design.
what? You're gonna get past it, and you're gonna get the prosthetic.
Well,
and
maybe not
it's-
fast,
it's
but he's
all
going to pass it.
Well, I do have I have the prosthetic already.
Right.
His name is Herschel, off of the Walking Dead. Okay. I say that. And of course, every man needs a woman. So Harriet is actually the prosthetic. What I have left is Herschel, and the prosthetic is Harriet. They lasted 3 days, and they broke up.
They got a divorce.
I hope not a divorce. That means I'll be limping around like this the rest of my life.
No.
3 whole days and they broke up.
3 days, and Herschel, she slapped him around a little bit. He got cut up, and she's
Well,
gone.
that's more than
Atlantic
my-
City for the weekend with Tony Landolfi, as a matter of fact. He's drinking heavily, and I get the seconds on Harriet.
Well, look, at least 3 days. It's better than my one-night stands that I used to
Well,
have
that's it.
because they're gone and I don't even remember
that's
them.
All right. That's all right.
See, I pay my wife a quarter every time I say something wrong.
We had a nice conversation. Was it this morning or last night?
You and I?
Yes, the drugs take its time to
Well,
work.
We actually, technically, it was less than 12 hours ago, but I guess you could go by the sun and the moon and say it was yesterday.
Oh, was it? Okay, we had that
We
nice
could do that.
conversation about your
And you said
heroics.
my heroics were good. I'm
In
not
my
Iron
day.
Man, but I'm close to it.
In my day, I used to live in Daytona Beach, Florida, and there were a lot of people down there. And so I did.
Did
have
you
I did
catch
get
my
around
wet
a little bit.
T-shirt contest back
Huh?
then?
No,
I had a wet T-shirt
I-
contest.
strictly with girls.
That's
Damn
why
it.
he moved back to New York.
Saw my name headlining wet T-shirt starring Jerry Parisi. Yeah, very good.
What did you do when you were down in Florida?
Well, in Florida, believe it or not, just get you want the biggest laugh of the night. I was actually a lifeguard in Florida. One save in a number of years.
Yeah, okay.
Some little boy, a pool. I have to.
We have that
Pool
4-foot
lifeguard.
pool right now. Bring that 4-foot pool.
No, it was more
it's
like 2.5 feet.
2.5 foot.
Different, no,
They
no,
brought the wrong pool.
It was a pool at a
Tom.
hotel, and I was the guard, and I hired some other guards, and basically we just had fun
Yeah.
with all the tourists, and they with us, and it was great. One save in all those years I was down there.
The rest drowned?
Yes, the rest. Nobody
sad.
knew. Nobody had paid their bills. Nobody cared. No questions were asked.
So sad.
No, but we had some great times
Right.
down there. It was a lot of fun, and that's what I was doing mostly down there. I decided when I was 21 years old that I wanted to retire early. So, what better place to go than Miami Beach, Florida, when you're 21 and you want to retire? So I hopped out on the LIE with $100 in my pocket, stuck out my thumb, and 5 or 6 years later, I returned, a rich man, and with a lot of great memories.
If that really worked, I'm doing the
Isn't that
same
amazing?
thing.
Can't do it now; they would shoot you.
You're not
You would
21 anymore.
Say so!
Me. I've seen your driver's license.
I hate when they do. That's like looking under my dress. Speaking of dresses.
What kind of a show is this, actually? What am I getting involved in? Camille, start laughing again, please. But that was it, the Florida. I came back up in 76, I believe it was, 77.
Okay.
Now, I remember 76 with the bicentennial. So I was still in Florida then, black and white TVs, no air conditioning. It was great. Loved every minute of it. Came back in 77, walked into White House, the White House in Richard M. Dixon's, off an ad in the Massapequa Post, where I resided until I was married. And they were looking for comedians. And of course, being the life of the party, and I was at a lot of parties. I said, hey, this is for me. I went down there, like I said, the first night. I think it might have been the second night. People like Bob Nelson and Eddie Murphy started there, and Rosie later on, and Joey Cola, who I'm good friends with now, and also with Nelson, by the way. And great comedians. I did not have the roses that on display here tonight. So it took me 24 years to do it, but I finally did do it. And basically never looked back.
Were you always funny growing up? Were you like the class clown?
I was extremely shy.
Really?
Growing up. And again, I think that was one of the reasons why I had to do this. Because I was so fearful of speaking to almost any, maybe to Jerry, I wouldn't have spoken to you. I would have said, this girl is too pretty for me. I can't address her. I'm going to be in trouble. So I got to the point where I just had to come out of my shell.
I'm sorry, I'm just adjusting my bra at this moment. Go ahead.
I noticed it in the bathroom.
I wanted to, I want to run a clip. Vicky, I think we got.
What, into me?
Hang on
Please,
a second.
put the gun down.
I want to run a clip, and I'm going to get back to this in about a minute. This is something that happened to you over the winter when the snow was everywhere.
Oh, that was great.
And so if we could watch that.
I'm touched. I'm a touched individual. I go to psychiatric treatment 3 times a week.
You've done so many benefits, and it's so great, and especially on a day like today, that all you guys came out and support a fellow loving human being that comes from Long Island like Mr. Mike Dillon right here. So, I am here with my favorite comedian, and I truly mean that in the entire world, Mr. Joey Cola. Joey, and we're here for a great cause today.
Great cause.
Mike
Dillon, he's
great guy.
You know, we're going to come out from the town.
You missed this almost stand-up before.
I can't believe it. What happened to him? He's
diabetic.
He's a diabetic. He lost some toes. Lost a leg. And he's complaining.
Yeah.
You know, we've known this whole a long time, and she actually does one of the shows here at Madhouse TV, and she's on the Good Show as a host. And I got to tell you, I'm going to see whether or not we can get her.
Hey, Nicole. All right, I'll be back.
Okay, Nicole. I got to tell you, this is great. You know, we came all the way out from Washington here tonight to help support Mike Dillon. Tell us a little about Mike.
Well, I've done a couple of shows with him, and he was one of the first people to give me an opportunity to walk on stage and get some stage.
What is your favorite thing about making someone happy?
A smile on their face.
For who?
Best medicine. Yeah, because I only surround myself with
Jeannie Powers, ladies and gentlemen. You can see her on the Gagoot Show, filling in for Nicole Monaco. That is Tuesday night at 6 o'clock, 6 p.m.
What do you want to do? I got a show. Hey.
You look thinner as I was.
I'm sorry. And this place is packed. You can't even park your car. I think it's amazing. What do you think?
I think this is a wonderful turnout. We got a bellissimo turnout. I think it's a wonderful developer Mike.
We all know Louis House TV, you're the one that keeps it running.
Oh, absolutely. I keep it running and going, and I do all the promos, and I do all the advertising. I have 10,000 fans.
And as a family man, he's the best in the land. There's nobody finer. Yes, Mike, you are a man among men, and we have no doubt you'll walk again. For your good health, to God we'll beg, so we can all make fun of your prosthetic leg.
That was funny. That was great, right? Laughing at the guy with one leg. Very nice.
That was a great day on the waterfront in Patchogue.
Oh, what a great place. A total surprise. I had a bunch of calls that morning.
Yeah.
Canceling.
No.
I'm figuring, oh boy, it would be lucky if there's 40 people there. I think there was about 100 or maybe more.
There was more than that.
They came out in the snow.
And they came out in the snow.
Yes.
But guess who?
You.
Yes.
I couldn't believe it, really. I was probably outside of the birth of my children. I can't think of probably a better day in about, just about.
So like the birth of Herschel, I guess.
What an honor and acknowledgement of the work
Yeah,
that you've done.
I honestly thought, I've been running shows on Long Island for probably about a dozen years now, all different places. As soon as they run me out, I try to find another place.
And you've taught many comedians comics.
Well, I don't know
to come
about
up.
teaching them.
Well, you've got them to.
You guided them.
You've guided
I taught them what not to do, maybe. Maybe that's a better way. But yeah, Landolfi claps for that. But don't drink with Landolfi. That's usually the lesson number one I teach them.
Oh, good.
Because you're not going to make it. You're not going to pass this guy. This guy is going to drink you under the table. But we do a lot of shows where I honestly pride myself in giving new comics or brand new comics, first time people, an opportunity to perform on a weekend night in prime time.
I would do that.
With an audience.
I expect to do that.
And you know how many years, how many decades actually, you know how many years it took me to get in front of an audience, a real audience, not your family or friends.
Yeah, not them plastic dummies that we
Saturday,
use in a bedroom.
On a Saturday night, it's tough. Yeah.
And where
Yes.
is that? What is
Well,
that happening?
presently we're doing it at the, until I get thrown out, Clarion Hotel in Ronkonkoma.
Okay.
We have a show coming up this Friday, June the 5th, actually, 8:30. That's the thank you show. That's my way of giving back to all those people that evening. Free admission.
Maybe we'll go. We would like to go. We would like to go.
Beverage minimum, but it's a nice room. I have some very funny people. Again, I keep giving this guy a plug. I shouldn't, but I do. Tony Landolfi is probably going to be there.
I hope, Angela, you're happy about this.
He'll be actually bartending that night. He won't be performing, but
you gave him a shot. He's going to learn about glasses. I like
cleaning up
that.
the bar and stuff like that. No, Tony and Gary Keshner from Brooklyn, New York's coming out. Maybe Rich Walker's on. And by the way, I have a walker now. I use a walker because
And you call it Rich.
Rich Walker. I knock it down.
I want to
morning.
see it later on.
I slap him around. I kick him. I tell him how lousy a comic he is, and I actually love Rich Walker. He's a great guy.
How much I need to know.
One of the
leaders.
first guys that actually helped me get going, and whenever I run into a little bit of trouble, he's there to bail me out. No, he actually is there with some words of encourage. So
is he your bouncer?
Is he what?
A bouncer? I mean, he bails you out, or he
no,
just?
He's the bail bondsman. Actually.
He's the bail bondsman.
No, he's a great. He's in comedy 20 years. Another guy that is funny as hell. He's funny as hell, and
you could say hell on the air over here.
The world, for some reason, doesn't know about him. The comedy world is. I mean, he does great work. I hire him all the time.
Who is it?
His name is Rich Walker.
Oh, Rich.
Aren't you paying attention?
No, he is very, very funny. And he's my walker's named after him. But I think every walker
should
in America
be named after Rich.
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, okay,
You're
fine.
putting words in my mouth.
I was trying.
Don't put words in
Every walker in the United
blocked by
States
his tonsils.
today, no, alcoholics in the world, should be Mr. Rich Walker.
Mr. Rich.
Because he's that great. I think. Finally, an applause. Finally, applause.
Ladies and gentlemen, alive, Mr. Rich Walker.
He's great.
He'll be
Rich is a great guy. These guys, the guys we're having on the second half of this debacle is they're all.
That's right. You can join the debacle.
Friends. A quick story about Tony Landolfi, and then back to me. When I first started, a lot of ums. I tell everybody never use the word 5,000 tonight. When I first started booking shows about a dozen years ago, I don't keep numbers on things like that, but one of the only people that would work for me was Tony Landolfi. There were edicts about people they couldn't work for me. If they worked for me, they were banned from other clubs. Back when the clubs were owned by 3 different owners, and Tony said, "What the hell? I'm working for him." I mean, you know, Tony was. I'll take his $50. I got nothing to do on a Friday night. Dylan, you got any Jack Daniels back there? But you know, he was one of the few, and we would have to maybe a bad way of putting it, import comics from the city.
No.
Yes.
Just like we imported Camille tonight.
Just to carry his liquor bottles. That's why. No,
I got scared.
To perform. And guess what? City Comics, I love them to death. They don't always play well out in the sticks. We are out in the sticks, and Landolfi would carry the heavy baggage back there. Of course, he carried his own heavy baggage too, but he would Joe. He was the guy. He was the guy carrying the mail.
Do you know who I got a chance to work with probably about 2 months ago? And Tony's cousin yelled at me for it. I got a chance to be on Amy Schumer's show.
Oh my God!
Now she is hysterical but raunchy. But
Yeah.
I won't say anything bad about her because I happened to not know her as well until afterwards. After the show, I watched some of her videos. But what I loved about her was timing. Now I want to bring this together. Would you call her a comic or a comedian?
Well, unless she's got a. I'm not going to say it. She's a comedian. She's got to be a comedian, right, guys? Right, Amy Schumer?
Yeah, comedian.
All right.
Comedian, right.
Now,
I mean, you can still call a girl comic.
Right.
A comic. Just like as an actor.
It's a good thing because that's how your titles are all
Camille
labeled on the next show.
We'll vouch for this later. You can call an actress an actor. It's the same type of thing, I believe. But I remember the first night I went into McGuire's, segueing back to that. I walked in and I did 5 minutes. I remember walking in, and I believe it was Peter Bales. It was unbelievable comic, national comic, 35 years. I remember him saying, "Are you a comic?" And I did not know the term.
It's interesting you say that because my next question to you, and I once asked this before on the Gagoot show, which we happen to steal his set, by the way, tonight, to fit everybody. What's the difference between a comedian and a comic? And it was told to me that a comedian says funny things, a comic says things funny. It's a big difference. So that I wonder if you clarify that. And
I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Well, there you go.
No,
and
no, really.
And
hey, if you're funny, who cares what they call you? Just as long as they pay you.
You know what?
That's what it comes down to. And not in checks.
Yeah.
Hopefully not in checks. Landolfi is giving us the middle finger.
Yeah, he is.
That was allowed.
But anyway, with that middle finger, I want to point out that if you are watching this on Channel 20, stay tuned next week at this time. You'll see the second part of the show with Mike and his friends. If you're watching Madhouse TV live, like my son Mike in Okinawa, my friend Nihad Jain in New Delhi, or my friend Kathy Maitaris over in Greece, stick around another half an hour with Mike Dillon, his friends, and thanks for watching Madhouse TV tonight. Beyond that, I want to just say thank you to Cheryl Dobbins, Violetta Anna Licari, Michelle Parisi, the incomparable Janine Zarilli, Vicky Mealy, Tom Mealy, and iconic Tommy Marr. Without them, this show would not go on the air. We'll see you next week.
Hi, I'm Tom Mealy from Madhouse TV, and when I'm not at the studio, I'm here at the Harrison Law Group. This is my real job. And this January 2015, Brett and I are putting together a show called Legal Straight Talk. It'll be aired on Cablevision as well as here at Madhouse TV. You need to tune in. This information that we're going to be giving the public is the real deal. It's all about what you should do, what you shouldn't do. So tune in this January 2015 for a new episode of Legal Straight Talk.
Hi, I'm Jerry Parisi. Join Tom Mealy and Tommy Marr right here on Cablevision Channel 20 each week for an interesting episode of The Long Island View.
I am Tommy Marr,
otherwise known as the Maverick Soul,
and I am live in the Madhouse
for my show, Maverick Soul Hour.
Come and join us. It's the place to be.
Right here on Madhouse TV, Sunday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And we will put you out to the entire world.
You got that right.
You're watching MadhouseTV.com. Stay tuned for the Filmmaker Show starring Jerry Parisi.
Hi, I'm Jerry Parisi. Welcome to the Filmmaker Show tonight. Tonight is entitled Mike Dillon and His Friends. Everybody saw Mike Dillon earlier. And of course, to keep these little guys in their cages, I brought some friends along. I have with me my beautiful wife, Rosemary. I mean...
Yep. That's her, all right. That's her, all right.
I mean Tony Landolfi, and I didn't mean that either. I meant Michelle. That was a joke on me.
Rosemary.
Wrong person. I hope she's not watching this
Tony
show.
Landolfi.
There you go. So we got tonight, let me open up the cameras. We have Michelle Parisi, my co-host, sitting next to Mike Dillon.
Yes, that's me.
We have Camille Theobald.
Oh, those
and she's the comic from New York City, all the way out here. Mr. Rich Walker.
And doubly lovely.
He stands up, and Mike actually hangs on to him as he goes. A gentleman who I absolutely love, Tony Landolfi, is next to me.
Yes.
And now we got to try to figure out just what...
On the show.
Nice.
Jerry's wearing his purple shirt. So far in the closet, he's finding Christmas presents. Come on, Jerry. What do you
Well, I got to tell you about my purple G-string I'm wearing.
Whoa.
And shall I give it to you just a little later? It'd be great to hang up, Tony, in your place. So, all right, we don't know how to do this show other than we're going to come on with everybody, and everybody tell me what you all think of Mike Dillon. Let's start with that.
Let me start with myself. I am wonderful.
He is.
I am wonderful. I can't walk, but I roll really well.
Now, if you were a girl, would they call you Peg, just as you're short?
No, Eileen.
What? Eileen? That's my
would
real
be
name.
Eileen.
Eileen is my...
Because he leans over.
Eileen, you lean, he, she, or it.
Because one leg, he's gone.
Yes, that's it. That's me.
Or if he's
Eileen.
Chinese, you'd be Irene. Irene.
Irene. That's good. That's good. Chipping in.
All right, there goes the half of the
They
population.
write themselves, folks.
That's it.
They write themselves.
Camille, what do you think of Mike Dillon?
This guy,
This guy.
he's very nice.
Yeah?
He's a good guy.
Nice.
He's like spent time with me,
Sexy.
like telling me.
He's like my
I don't
granddad.
think I'm allowed to say that word.
He reminds me of my papa.
I did the joke, and you jumped in with a different word.
All right, the studio audience is going to say there's a lot of in-jokes going.
Sucks. He's terrible. He sucks. He was a lousy comic.
This is on Channel 20.
He's lousy on Channel 20. He's lousy on Mad. Somebody stop me.
You know the room is Mike. You don't have to.
Come on. You're my
don't
friends.
have to do
Don't
that.
brag on yourself.
We had that nice benefit for you. When,
It was great.
We raised money to get Mike a parrot and a boat.
Nice.
And an eye patch.
I ate the parrots. Very tasty. The little Chianti on the side.
Did you get any booty?
Oh, I wish.
That's why you arrived you here.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Oh no.
Long time. In fact, Tony and I, we did a show in Ephrata? Is that how you pronounce it?
Ephrata, Pennsylvania.
Ephrata, Pennsylvania.
When we had to
and
run to the car because
everybody got booty that night.
the guy it was in an Elks Lodge, and the guy who ran the Elks Lodge, his wife kept trying to molest me.
And everybody else at the bar,
And
my dad.
At one point, I went into the bathroom to go take a pee, and she followed me in there.
That's
Oh
not
my
true.
God.
Wait, listen, that is not true. This is what
She
happened.
followed me in there, and you guys had to pull her out.
She did follow him into the bathroom.
So she was stalking you.
I was screaming for help, and who was it? It was you.
No, you weren't screaming
Hello?
for help. You kept going. We kept saying, "Oh, I have to go to the bathroom." He kept saying,
And I kept running back to the bar to get another
We'll wait in
drink.
the car. And we wait 5, 10, 50, 20 minutes.
And I was
Tony, back in the bar.
back
We
in the
get
bar.
him. Before we go in the car, I have to the bathroom again. You go to the bathroom. 5, 10, 50.
Yes.
Tony's in the bar.
I was at the bar.
This went on till like 4 in the morning.
Was she drugging you?
No,
She
drugging.
was drugging me?
Yeah.
What, like slipping roofie?
Yeah.
No, but she was like all up in my stuff, and I was.
Oh god.
Yeah, but the best part of that
The best part,
was the husband.
the husband runs home and comes back with a shotgun. We had to run to the car.
Oh yeah, Gary Cologne. Remember?
Actually, that was the
Yeah.
husband brother.
One of
You
the
failed to
funniest-
mention that part. It was actually a husband brother,
Yeah.
and she's really the mother sister
The
of.
highlight of the night is we hit a gas station on the way home, and sloshed out of my mind, I bought a brownie, and I ate it, and I didn't like it, so I stuffed it in the gas pump.
And that's why I always told
The
you.
nozzle.
That was the
Don't
first
go
time
after brownies, go
I
after
ever
Girl
saw
Scouts.
Landolfi give up a piece of cake. Nothing at all from that. But what I forgot to tell you about that night
Crickets
is
just
prior to you and your antics at the bar that evening. And by the way, they treated us really like we were celebrities. Like we
They did. They treated us very well.
very, very well.
And a bottle and a half of Jack Daniels
It was
later,
amazing.
Wow.
they were
But-
coming after us with shotgun.
Prior to your encounter with I can't even think of her name now, but it'll come to me. She gets me in the back.
Spit it out, Mike. All right.
Everybody else, and she offers. She says, "How about instead of me paying you in money, I pay you another way."
Ah.
How come I don't get
Now she's talking my language.
She wanted to pay him in M&M's.
I would love.
And that's how he lost the leg, because he
would-
ate all those M&M's.
I
The
would-
diabetes kicked into high gear.
I don't
They had
get
to
it.
chop
So
the
his
leg
leg up
off.
like
This
this.
happens in Pennsylvania.
Oh, everything
Apparently,
happens and it stays there.
Pennsylvania-
I would. So I said, Tony. So I said to
Stays
her,
there.
I personally would love to do this with you, but I have to pay the other comics,
Yeah.
so I can't.
Mike gives me church basements.
Yes,
Church
I don't get nobody offering to pay me any other way. They actually have my
Keep your
envelope
hand
ready.
out
I
of that
forget what I said. Take your pay.
They give you
Go
the
now.
envelope and then they pass the plate
Yeah,
for it.
exactly.
Just
At the
that
church.
once.
Here's your pay.
It's the 1-2
Here's
punch.
Here's the plate.
Let me ask a couple of you guys some. Rich, tell us about yourself. Real, the 30-second elevator speech.
Yeah, well, quite frankly, I am probably one of the top guys to come out
Nice.
of Long Island.
He
Okay.
is. He really is.
I really am. I really am. I have a new movie coming out.
Nice.
You may be interested. It's with Matthew McConaughey.
Okay.
And Tommy Lee Jones.
Wow. Big stuff.
Yeah.
And your cousin didn't get me in that movie? Angela, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's because it doesn't exist.
It actually doesn't exist. But,
It's in his mind, folks. It's in his mind.
what it keeps me
He's
going.
out of his mind.
He stopped taking the
He's out.
lithium.
Yeah, I'm
And
thinking.
now he's back to his delusion.
Sucking on batteries again, are
So
you?
what keeps you going?
And now, well, what keeps me going is my new project with Mel Gibson.
Wow. Big.
Yeah.
Real big.
Yeah, I don't know if he's an A-lister anymore, but
Big figmentation of your mind.
yeah.
Actually.
I actually don't even know what I'm talking about.
Terrible.
Camille, let me talk to you.
I just love being on a show with, 100 inside stories.
Don't think I'm not going to get email about this. I get email about all our shows now, and I got on one
What do they
hand.
actually say?
I have to say, I'm very proud of that.
like your show and I'm getting.
Oh, you don't know what I get. Trust me.
my cats. I watch the show.
Even Michelle doesn't see those emails at this point because she'll kill me. Camille, let's talk to you a little bit. I want to talk to Camille because this poor girl is so quiet, sweet. Where'd you grow up, honey?
Salt Lake City, Utah.
And you're a Mormon.
Nope.
You're not a Mormon, okay.
No.
You don't believe in 4 or 5 husbands?
That actually would be nice, but in Mormonism, it only counts for the guy. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, only the guy gets multiple wives, and I'm like,
Now, you see-
why don't I get to have a wife, right? You know what I'm saying?
You should have a wife. Actually, I have applications for
wife? You go that way
threesomes,
too?
foursomes, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Nice.
Yeah.
What do you want to have a threesome so you can disappoint 2 women? It's.
I was really hoping to disappoint the guy.
Reptile in there too with you.
Well, reptiles work on Thursdays, but it's not their day. And you're a comic or a comedian. What do you consider yourself?
I generally use the word comedian, but I
Nice.
guess comic works.
I guess because the title said comic, but that's
Yeah,
fine.
I mean,
she's also an actor.
they're the
You're
same
an actor, SAG?
No, I'm SAG eligible, but
Aha.
I will not join until something pays me nice enough to join.
Well, you have to work a SAG
Oh,
movie
you
to
look,
make it.
you know, I got the bill
I
phone
quite frankly wouldn't.
tonight in the car.
What kind of film is this?
And
It was there. I had to do it.
Are you? Are any of you guys union?
No.
No. Okay. I guess I'm the only union sucker here.
Okay,
But that's all right. And
Local 1492 laborers city.
Exactly.
Did you ever hear a union rep read a bedtime story to his kid?
No, let's
Once
hear it.
upon a time and a half.
That's right. Someone.
It's Rick Walker, ladies and gentlemen. Give a round of
Scores.
I'm allowed one, Tony.
I love this.
You're interrupting Camille here.
Yes.
Camille. Go back to you.
There's just so much more non-union work. Why join the union?
Exactly.
Well, for distribution. That's the real thing. It's
Yeah.
real thing is distribution.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
one gets that. They don't understand that when Warner, big guys like Warner Brother, my good friends there, will tell make fun. I love it. It's like, glad you could do it.
Tell your story.
With you, Linda.
The reality is they're only going to pick that because that's what gets distributed, and it's a very tough thing. So you want distribution.
Because Jerry, so many times when he's walking down the street, somebody comes running up to him and goes, "Oh my God, you were 5th guy from the left behind the other 14 people."
13, damn it! Don't you count?
Bonanza.
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
Bonanza.
Bonanza. I was going to say,
Bonanza reference.
Mike, are these some of your students that you've taught?
Yeah.
Well, Camille actually is starting to study with me a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Some
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
I saw
So
her-
you're telling the don't things. He is the don't guy.
Yeah, he's like, don't.
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 I know.
No, whatever
And
he
how many
does
times I do
Don't
it?
take sex for pay.
is the
Oh,
don't
see,
column.
I'm
Take sex
telling you,
for
I
pay?
told her
Don't
right
take
there.
sex for pay.
Wait a minute, why am
You're
I
always gonna
doing
get
that then?
shortchanged. You're always gonna get shortchanged if you take sex for
Well, it
pay.
depends on how tall the
I
guy
learned that in
is.
Vegas. Anyway,
He learned that in PA.
And what about you,
Pennsylvania, folks.
Rich?
PA.
You
Abbreviation.
study with Tony? I mean, with Mike?
This is
No,
my
Tony,
actually, I
Mike,
took classes
Michelle.
with Rich.
We've known each other a long time.
Yeah,
We've
15
known-
years, I'd say.
15, and I've been doing it 21 years.
Right.
so no, he did not study with Mike.
So no, I
Did
didn't.
not. I am not known as that.
Yeah, I don't mean to disappoint, but we learned a lot from each other, I think.
That's good.
Oh, absolutely.
Is that your serious voice?
That's a serious way. I can
Yeah,
tell.
I'm like, this is the serious Jerry
This is his
Lewis.
McConaughey
A
impression.
serious Jerry Lewis.
Yeah.
What about you, Tony? I saw you, and the first time I met you, I did not know who you
course you
even
saw
were.
me.
Much of a drunk
I
he
am
was.
comedy's best kept secret.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I'd
But
say that.
where did you start? How did you get going?
All
The
bartenders
first
know
time I
about-
ever was on stage was at a gentleman by the name of Richie Minavini. Had a club in Farmingdale on Route 110
Minavini.
called
Minavini.
Minavini.
Oh, Minavini.
Minavini. Shut up. You gonna tell me how to say an Italian name? You
He's
just
in
asked.
Atlantic City now. It's not
So
Okay, Channel 20, we're cutting that one out.
I knew Richie Minavini.
So, and that was the first time I was on stage. It was, Jesus, back in the early 90s.
You were on stage with Jesus? That brings up
Me and
problems.
Jesus.
You want to hear a little
He
tidbit?
had a great
Yeah,
act,
but he
by the way.
upstaged me the whole time.
Here's a little tidbit. Tony and
Part of the-
I were actually a comedy team.
Yes, we were.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Actually,
With
Who
Jesus?
Who played the
No.
fat guy?
that is.
Back in what? That was like 96, right?
Yeah.
Like 96.
I was more
97.
like the Felix Unger kind of looking.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Richie broke it off because he thought I was holding him back.
Huh?
So
Well, you know, it's ego.
it's all ego. Richie's ego.
And where was that you guys performed?
And Tony was always, too sloppy.
We were at Governors.
He's a sloppy drinker.
We actually did we did a couple of shows together.
We did it like 4 shows together.
Yeah,
Richie.
and then
Is that right?
we didn't want
Yeah.
to split the $50.
Exactly.
Yeah.
that
Especially
Mike
seeing
Dillon
that.
had for us.
And especially seeing that Dolphy drank 75.
Yeah.
I got a question for all of you. Who would be one of the comics or comedians that you love the most, that you say gave you an idea to do something like this? Anybody?
Yes.
There's 3 people that I saw that made me want to become a comedian.
Tell them quick.
Evan Weiss.
Eddie, shut up. They couldn't
They're
chop off
heckling
his
each other.
tongue.
Look
Had
at
to
this.
chop off his leg. Eddie Murphy was
Oh,
one of them.
great.
Okay.
Yes.
Eddie Murphy maybe aspired to be a comedian. Richard Pryor was another
Okay.
one. And believe it or not, the third one was Joey Cole.
Wow.
Joey Cole was
wow.
a big inspiration.
He opens for Rachel Ray, am I correct?
Yeah, he
Yes,
works on
yes,
Rachel
he
Ray.
is right.
Nice. nice.
Fantastic, man. The fact that I've gotten to a point where I went from watching this guy on television do comedy, which now I actually know the man. We're actually friends. That's probably one of the greatest
That's
accomplishments
very
I've
good.
ever had.
And a great
wonderful.
endorsement of Joey, too. He is right there when you need him.
Yes.
He could be a first-time comic. He's there for you. He's amazing.
Michelle, I never asked you
Very
any
good.
questions tonight. Let me ask you a quick question. In terms of comedy, who's your favorite comedian or comic? I should know this. I'm married to her, besides you, Tony.
Tony Lindolfi.
I am never doing another show with Tony Landau.
I'm sorry.
How much did he
Well,
pay you?
I've seen Tony
They
Lindolfi
love me.
before. I never,
They've
I've
seen
never
me.
No,
seen
and
you
regardless, he's
Yeah.
still your favorite.
Mike, who do you like? Who'd be somebody
Well,
you absolutely love?
The guy that I loved the most was Dangerfield. But when
Oh,
I was
I like
going to
that.
school at Stetson many years ago, when they actually wore those
The hat
hats.
company, yeah.
Yeah. Robert Klein came out with his first HBO special, and the school somehow procured it. And I remember sitting in a little room off the, in the back of the student union, where I regularly watched Johnny Carson nightly.
That's
I
my
would
top.
stop.
And do you know who worked with Johnny Carson?
I would
Carl
stop
Sabatino.
everything to watch Carson.
He
What?
did.
My friend Carl Sabatino worked with Johnny Carson.
Wow.
In fact, Carl Sabatino, which one day you guys will all meet, Angela's met him before, actually started his work career on Jackie Gleason. Are you pointing your finger? You should be. You should be shadowing.
One point my
Like this, like this.
watched you.
He did. He would actually call out the lines under the sink because Jackie Gleason never really remembered his lines.
Yeah, that's right. He was too.
And so
too
Carl was
chores
a little
on-
boy, and we'd yell him out.
Right.
Who's your favorite comic
I didn't
comedian?
finish.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh my God, the
Please,
story.
Vicky, put the camera back right on him immediately.
Robert Klein. I saw Robert Klein a couple of times.
We got it.
I'm
Robert
telling you, it just blew
Klein.
me away. And that's
Move on.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's wonderful.
It's not always about you.
This is my. Go ahead, sweetie.
Once every 8 months, I get up. Come on.
Go
I
ahead.
think growing up, I really liked Jim Carrey. But like
Wow.
when I got into stand-up, the one who influenced me the most was George Carlin.
Okay.
Definitely.
Do you like that dry humor kind of thing?
I do. I can't do it well, but I really enjoy it. That's what will make me laugh. But I'm not that type of a person. Like,
So-
it's not me. So I can't. I'm more of like, hey, like I'm big.
She is very
I'm not
theatrical.
big.
I can tell. It looks
Very,
nice.
very funny.
So, all right, that brings me back to my original point I was just saying before on last week's show. Got to remember that. A comic versus a comedian. So let me just see if I can put it this way. The Three Stooges, who I never cared for, or Lucille Ball, which I, once again, was not one of my big
And
things.
she was not. I was not a big fan of.
What
Lucy.
what kind of comedy is she and them? slapstick?
She's
or?
a comedic actress. She was
Right,
never a
she's an
stand-up
actress,
comedian.
sketch
It's a pain in the ass.
All right.
Well, they call improvisers
The
and
wine
comedic
is
actors
difficult.
comedians still. They'll still call them comedians, like as a general, they're a comedian, but not like a stand-up comedian.
I don't
Okay.
have a show business dictionary on hand. to
You should have brought
define-
one for. You're
Well, I
on
heard
television.
a
You should have.
This
comedian.
one is a comic. This one is a
Tony, did you
comedian.
study?
This one
Did
is
you
a-
study for the show?
No.
It was no script. Now let me ask you something
Doesn't
else.
look like he studied for anything. Look at this.
Flying by a wing and a prayer.
I think
Jerry,
he's doing
did you
great.
tell him to study?
I did
No.
tell. No, I didn't tell him to study. I
Then
did.
that's
That's
the
the whole thing.
problem
It's
right
all
there.
my fault. All right, Rodney Dangerfield versus
Yeah.
who I happen to love him and his
One of
kind of humor,
one of the best.
and Abbott and Costello with the Who's on First.
Oh.
Now, that's two different types of humor. You got the Stooges who slap themselves, and I get they get laughs out of that, which I never cared for. And you got Bud Abbott and Lou Costello, who are one is sort of a straight man.
Sure.
That's two different types of comedy. So is one?
Well,
Go ahead, Rich.
Stand-up comedy is a progression. You know, there would be, you know, and we say this in class. There'd be no Rowan Martin's laughing, you know, if it wasn't for the show of shows. There'd be no Saturday Night Live if it wasn't for Rowan Martin's laughing, and it progresses. There'd be no Saturday Night Live if it wasn't for, you know, did I just say that? Whatever.
We know, like Mad
John
TV,
Belushi,
if it wasn't for.
Yeah, so
Saturday
it
Night
progresses.
Live. We know
you
sketch comedy.
Yeah.
Different
Right.
sketch
Yeah.
comedy.
But I
think
mean,
way
even
back in
stand-up
the
comedy is
day-
a progression. Yes, back in the
Way
day.
back in the day, slapstick was the thing.
Right.
That's what you did, because that was
Yeah.
funny to them.
And I think with the thing with the Three Stooges that probably most people don't know, it was the beginning of the soundboard. They used the soundboard for this sound effects.
For the effects,
Right.
yes.
And if you just play if that was a silent film, and you played that same show, the laughs I don't think would be there.
Right.
But that soundboard, all the knocks and the belts and
The
the
oop and the thing,
slips
yeah.
and the slides.
Very good. Yeah.
That was like the advent of the soundboard, and I think that is what catapulted them to a different level.
Right.
You guys are playing, or I should say, not playing. Not a good word with you guys.
Well, he
It's
plays.
Friday night. Is it Friday night? Tell us about that.
Friday night. Oh, this your thank you show, right? That's gonna be a
Great creative name for a
Mike
show.
Dillon comedy
Why?
marathon.
I thought like 15 seconds. Thank you.
No, thank you, sir. Oh, we have to talk
So
about.
you got like
we have to talk
24
about his
people?
show.
Yeah.
27 comics. We're gonna go all night. I have the room the whole night.
Yeah, ruined everybody's night.
$17.50 it cost me.
All right, fine.
And hey, I don't care how
Sold
many.
out?
I don't know how many.
Well, we'll be
comics-
there. You make sure we got tickets.
Oh,
for
I'm
me
gonna
and
be
Michelle.
there. I don't know if anybody else is showing
Yeah,
up, but
Admission is free.
We'll be
Make sure we.
admission
It's
is
free. You don't
free.
need tickets. You just walk in the
For
door.
a change, walk
And you
in.
sit
That's what I love about you,
have a couple
Tony.
Drinks,
Don't hold it back.
Jerry,
have
Jerry,
some conversation with some people.
we have
Rich
to
Walkie
ask
coming?
him about. We have to talk about his show.
Yeah, we got to talk about a show because Mike Dillon's going to get a show here, and we're going to try it on my slot, and we're going to call it Mike Dillon and Friends, and Mike is going to be doing the Barbara Walters kind of interview, and what
Can I
I want you
divulge
to-
at this time my first?
I want you to
first
talk
guest?
about what you think.
Well, the first guest. I know he's all going to be
I may
Totally.
be booked. I may be booked.
totally blown away by this, but none other than the amazing Tony Lindolfi.
Oh, gee.
Oh no!
Nobody asked me. I guess I just.
But in
I
the
just
event,
found out.
In the
But
event,
in the event he's already
I may
at a
be-
gin mill,
I may be
I'm going to
booked.
get somebody with some real talent.
Well,
I love Tony. I can get away
let me
with
say
that.
one thing in Tony's defense. He's probably available. I mean,
Not
I'm
if
just
Karen has anything to say
I'm
about it.
assuming.
Almost as available as you. The only difference is the only reason why I'm more available than you is because you have to be home to scrub the toilet and wipe your kid's ass.
Now, if this is a Barbara Walters interview, are you going to do the wig, the red lipstick?
I
was wondering.
Not a bad
I
idea,
normally
really.
do it on Tuesday night, so why not
Yeah.
that? But you know,
You
That's
should
what
do
would
it in
be
drag.
You should let the stump ask the question.
that's a great idea.
Move
I
the
know
stump.
just when Tony's gonna win.
Forget Mike and friends. It should be Mike and the talking.
I'm beginning
stump.
to need a wig.
Stumpy Dillon.
I'm actually calling Stumpy Dillon and his guest. I love it already. Stump.
I'm stumped. I don't know what to say.
We're on some political guests, but the elections stumping for them.
All right.
Are we stumping? That went over good.
You can try.
I get a nice. A comedian gets a nice.
Well, from what I understand, your show,
I believed you.
you're gonna delve into people's personal lives. From what I get, though, you're gonna really
serious.
How many kids you got? How many times you got laid
How many
in life?
kids
All
you
that
got?
good stuff.
I'm getting that personal. I'm getting that right down to. How many kids you got?
I want to. I want to add.
No, you
one
don't
thing.
tell me.
I want to assume
You have
one
3.
thing.
That's a great number.
Mike, I want to assume one thing. On your Tony Landolfi interview,
yes,
are you going to be talking at all about alcohol?
Well, I don't know.
It
It's
might
gonna,
come up.
I know it's going to be sponsored by alcohol. Every gin mill in the area is going to want to
Sponsored by
sponsor it when
Jose
they find out
Cuervo.
that, yeah, sure.
Well, I tell you what, with all of that happening, I want you guys to stay tuned to Madhouse. You'll see some more upcoming announcements about it.
Yes.
I hope I have given enough time to my friend Tony Landolfi,
Oh, look at the angel.
Michelle
Look at the little
Parisi,
angel.
Mike Dillon, Camille Theobald, Rich Walker. Again, thanks to Violetta Analicari, to Cheryl Dobbins, to Michelle again, to Tom Mealy, Tommy Marr, the incomparable Janine Zerilli, and the person who's running the whole place all by herself, Vicky Mealy. Thank you, Vicky, especially. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the Filmmaker Show, and we look forward to seeing you next week as well. Good night, everybody.